Hey, Field.
Yeah.
You want a coat? I got a really nice winter coat. It just doesn't fit me. It was really, really nice. So I think it might fit you.
Sure, why not?
Full disclosure, though, one thing about it, it's made of dog.
Wait, what kind?
Dalmatian.
Let's talk about Cruella. Welcome back to Now Renting with Forgotten Cinema. And yes, today we're going to be talking about the movie Cruella. Before we get into our three things, each why we think you should watch this movie on row 8. Mike, what is Cruella about?
A young, budding fashion designer, Estella, slowly becomes the Disney villain Cruella after competing with a high-end fashion designer in a fashion face-off, all taking place in 1970s London.
Obviously, the Disney villain Cruella is from the 101 Dalmatians movie, which was from the 1970s?
60s.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Wow, I feel old. So I'll start us off. We like to do our three things why we think you should watch this movie. My number one is the actors, not just Emma Stone, not just Emma Thompson, but everyone involved, including Paul Walter Hauser, who I really liked in this film. He made me laugh. I just think everybody was on top of their game in this film. It was enjoyable to watch them, and they were eating up the scenery and chewing it, which was fine. I mean, that's what it is, especially Cruella. But I really enjoyed the overall acting in this film. Mike, what is your number one?
My number one is Emma Stone. I'm kind of honing it in there. But
what else is new?
I think she does a great job. First of all, her accent is spot on. I love her kind of posh British accent in the film. But I also love that her kind of dualities, her playing with that like evil version of herself, that Cruella that's inside of her. I think it's a really interesting take on the character, and I think she did a phenomenal job.
So my number two is the style of the film, not just the look of the movie, which does kind of go part and part with the wardrobe, because this is set in the 70s, but it's also set within the fashion industry in London. And you have Cruella going up against the Baroness and their styles going back and forth and on display. I always, for some reason, I'm just going to always remember the trash dress that she has, where she rolls out of the garbage truck and she's just got tons of dresses attached to her. It's a pretty cool scene. But anyways, I enjoyed the style of the film, both wardrobe wise and the actual look of the film itself. What's your number two?
The setting. I think it's really cool that it takes place in the 70s. I think it would have been really easy to put it in modern times and just be like, all right, it's 2020 something, and here we go. But to do it in the 70s with the kind of London punk scene, I think that's really interesting and unique, and kind of gives it a little bit of an extra style all its own. And it's not taking, the easy way out, so to speak.
Sure. My number three is going to be the dogs. Now, there are Dalmatians in this film, but the Dalmatians are really not a main part of the film. There are two dogs in this movie. One that Estella finds in a dumpster that she's thrown into at her school in the beginning of the film. The dog stays with her while she goes to London. But then there's another dog with when they start thieving, that has a little eye patch and basically does all the crimes. They just bring the dog and they put the dog in the room, and the dog just opens the door. The dog steals the wallets. The dog is the star of the thieving ring that they are a part of. So it was nice to see the dogs. I don't know. I have 4 dogs, and that's probably why I like the dogs in the movie. Mike, what's your number 3?
Kind of going with you with style is I like the color in the film. I like the kind of everything's kind of muted, a little desaturated, but a lot of the dresses and a lot of the fashion, it just pops, like the red dress and stuff like that. I really like those pops of color in a desaturated film. I've always liked that. I know that a lot of films do that, but it always is something that I find interesting. So I really do like the way they use the color in the movie.
Nice. You know what color pops a lot? Purple. And you know whose main color is purple, Butler?
Is it ours?
It's Forgotten Cinema.
Yes!
What are we about?
We are a podcast about forgotten films that seem to be forgotten by audiences, whether it be because a more popular movie was released at the same time or the film simply didn't catch on with an audience in its initial run. We'll discuss what we love about it, maybe don't love about it, but we always recommend you revisit it. You never know, you might find your own forgotten gem. You can find us at ForgottenCinemaPodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts, as well as all the social medias.
So you're on row 8 right now. Hopefully you're watching this video. Click the rent/buy button underneath the video and go on and watch Cruella. And then we'll get a little piece of that action. If you're not on row 8, you might be on YouTube or you might be on one of our social pages. Go click the link in the description and that'll send you to row 8 where you can watch this film and tell them we sent you. You got anything else to add?
That coat's upstairs if you're waiting for it. Let's go try it on.
Still gross. So I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And this has been Now Renting with Forgotten Cinema, brought to you by Row 8.